Hi everyone, welcome back to EduKingdom College. It's Celine and we'll be going through Power Reading Test 43 today. So today I'd really like to focus on comprehension. I think we can achieve this by drawing conclusions by locating keywords. So what I mean by this is that when we have a question, they'll use particular words that often tell us what they want the answer to be. So sometimes all we have to do is look at the word that they've used in the question and search for that word in the text. Or sometimes looking for that one word in the text will actually tell us somewhere where the answer lies. Secondly, I'd like to focus on understanding the text meaning without it being explicit. So sometimes the text will not tell us this is the purpose of this newspaper article, for example, right? Most of the times, texts don't actually do this. We have to consume the text. We have to really listen and read and think about the conclusions that the author wants us to be thinking by reading. So this comprehension skill is something I'd like to work on by reading with you guys. This is our first text. It's called Great Idea, This 7-Year Hitch by Gabrielle Pauly. I'd like you guys to note the 7-year hitch is about a marriage, right? Hitch is just a casual word for getting married, and this article is mainly about how they would like to change the concept of marriage into something similar to a driver's license. At least that's the comparison they've decided to use, where you renew it every 7 years. Once you guys have finished reading this extract, please return to this video and we can go through these questions together. So for the first question, how was this idea of renewing marriage vows received? So if you read the entire text, you'll understand that this idea of a 7-year marriage that needs to be renewed was negatively taken. So essentially, the Christian church, specifically the Catholic Church, condemned it. They felt as if it went against their values and the core values of marriage. Even Pauly's party, Pauly's political party, thought that it was ridiculous and even asked Pauly to resign in their political party. So it would make sense for our answer to be C. Generally, the idea went down like a lead balloon. Like a lead balloon is a phrase, and it's basically saying that it went very, very downhill because balloons are supposed to go up because they're so light, and then lead is very heavy. Because it's heavy, it falls, which is similar to the fact that it went downhill. Now, for question 2, the gist of this article should be considered as what? Gist, by the way, means the general ideas. So the general ideas of this article should be considered what? In this case, we have another phrase that you guys might not be familiar with. It's called tongue-in-cheek. Tongue-in-cheek is very insincere sarcasm. It seems serious, right? But it's actually a joke, right? So really, it boils down to sarcasm. And that is actually what this text is, right? They seem serious by reporting the claim that Pauly has made, but they're actually ridiculing them. In question 3, what is the main view of the Catholic Church in relation to the main issue? So basically, what does the Catholic Church think of Pauly's proposal? So up on the board, I've put up an extract. Already the Catholic Church has come out against the notion, saying the idea was against the spirit of marriage and sent the wrong message to the people contemplating a union. Let's just stop it there because that's where the Catholic Church's thoughts end. So basically, they believe that it doesn't actually reflect the union of two people in the Catholic Church, because in the Catholic Church, this is, by the way, these ideas are implied. In the Catholic Church, it's a long-term commitment. It's not a 7-year commitment that you renew. To them, it's until like death, for example. So to be completely honest, it does go against the whole idea behind marriage in terms of the Catholic Church. This means that our answer for question 3 is A. For question 4, generally speaking, Gabrielle Poli is what? So we should be able to take a look at the entire extract and understand the purpose at this point. So Gabrielle Poli suggesting that there should be a 7-year renewal of people's marriages. This is a very new way of approaching marriage in modern times, at least, right? Especially when the Catholic Church is involved. So essentially, they want us to reconsider and think about the different ways marriage could actually happen. And the only answer that reflects that is D, in favor of marriage that can be reassessed. So it just means that reconsidering what marriage is and what it means for everyone. So this is our second text, erring on the side of this is a bit more of a, I would say, non-fiction text because it's a bit argumentative but also informative. So it's about communication skills and how people stumble by using etc., right? And what it means for us and how we can understand people, and perhaps if it's helpful for us. So please read this extract and come back to this video when you're ready to answer the questions. So for question 5, how does the writer of this article feel about the utterances used in our speech? So utterances meaning and ah, they clarified that in the text I've put up on the screen. So if we were to think about the purpose of the text, they're not trying to tell us that these utterances are annoying or distracting. They don't say that it's adds meaning to whatever we're saying either. Instead, they used evidence. They said that there was a study, and they used that to help support their point about the fact that this could be a good way of communication because it can help people remember information. So the only answer that fits that is D, right? It could have been C, like the perfect way to communicate, but this doesn't actually give us a reason why it's a good thing, right? So by saying the perfect way to communicate, all we're saying is that utterances are good to use in our speeches. That's it. No reasoning, really, right? But if we use D, an effective way to help remember information, we're actually referring to the fact that they found a study that said that it was good to remember information and that we should try it. So D would be the answer for question 5. In question 6, they actually ask us a little bit more about the study/evidence that they used. So in their experiments, what were the experts trying to ascertain? Ascertain means draw the conclusion of. So in their experiments, what were the experts trying to conclude, right? So if you look at the text up on the screen, you'll see that the experts at Stirling and Edinburgh universities in Scotland asked volunteers to listen to a series of sentences, including a number that had disfluencies. They then tested how much the listeners could remember. So they were trying to test what the listeners could and could not remember compared to sentences that had disfluencies and sentences that did not have disfluencies. So that only fits with B, right? Any other answer is in relation to speed or what was said correctly, or the volunteers that said that spoke with disfluencies. That is not mentioned in the extract. The extract only mentions if people could understand sentences with and without disfluencies. So for question 7, why has the article been given the title erring on the side of So if you guys haven't noticed, is one of the disfluencies they talked about in the scientific experiment. Erring and as in the title, are very similar. So they're actually just joking around with the words at this point. So they also want to seem a little bit clever because they're repeating and it's about, well, the disfluency of So essentially, the answer should be B. It is a play on words. For our next and final extract, we have What's the Inference? The Lady in Black. So this text, unlike our previous text, is actually a fictional one, and this is just the introduction. This is about a character called Brett just coming home from work on a bus, and they just notice some odd activities that their bus does. And it's a bit suspenseful, a bit scary, just mainly creepy and unsettling. Once you guys have finished this extract, please return to this video and we'll answer the questions together. So for question 8, they ask us, what is the most important thing that happens in the extract? So when they ask us questions like the most important thing or the least important thing, anything like that means that we need to read the text in its entirety. So we need to be able to judge which part of the text was the most memorable, right? Like what makes the text something that is worth reading. So in this case, because the text is so suspenseful and it's pretty slow, right, the only thing that keeps the reader reading and questioning is the fact that Brett sees movement in the bushes. So to clarify, Brett is in a really boring bus ride, okay? That is the most eventful thing that happens to him. The fact that he sees movement in the bushes and he starts to wonder what is out there. We as an audience, we're supposed to feel a little scared as well. So the answer for question 8 should be A. For question 9, the bus has a silent mission. What is it? So silent mission, when we really think about it, is figurative language, right? So silent can mean two things, right? So one, it could mean quiet, and two, it could mean that no one knows of it, okay? And mission means goal, right? So the bus is already quiet, right? And so they're essentially trying to stop at every single stop they're supposed to, like a normal bus, okay? So in the answers, we can take a look at B, to complete the journey, okay? So it's a play on words. The bus is being quiet, so they are being quiet as they stop at every stop. But at the same time, it seems as if maybe it's unknown, right? It's definitely unknown to Brett, as we can see in the extract. So the answer for question 9 should be B. For question 10, I want you guys to pay attention to the phrasing of this sentence. This question. Which word best describes Brett's attitude to his job? I would like you guys to note his job. So not the entire text, just his job, right? So just to define the options we have, indifference means you don't really care. There's no effect on you, essentially. B, dedication, that's when you put a lot of effort and discipline into a particular activity or interest. C, concern is when you feel as if there's something that needs a little bit of attention, right? And usually this is rooted in, just feeling as if you have a duty, right? Or when you just feel bad or you think something is suspicious. And then D, loyalty, is when you stick with a particular person or place for a very long time. In the entire extract, we actually see Brett being a little detached, right? They don't actually care or they don't really talk much about their job. So we can take out dedication and concern, but also we can take out loyalty because these are words that describe like someone who's a very active employee. And so that means that Brett is very indifferent towards his job. He has a monotone narrating voice, and the only thing that makes the text essentially engaging is the creepy tone, the descriptive language, right? And that's not because of Brett's attitude to his job, that's because the bus is creepy. So just to review the test purpose, I hope you guys were able to work on your comprehension by drawing conclusions, by locating keywords, and or understanding the text meaning without it being explicit. This can mainly be achieved by reading the text in its entirety before answering the questions, or you could try and look for the keywords in the question first. These two techniques, you guys can choose when to use it, especially if you guys are short on time in the test, but I still think that these two skills are worthwhile knowing and practicing. Anyway, that's it for now, so I'll see you guys next week. Bye!